Hi, Oprah. I am really enjoying your new show, Life Class on Own. There were a number of topics this week that I felt connected to. However, the show on Tuesday truly resonated with my soul. You had featured a woman on the show who talked about her turbulent relationship with her dad. And like her, I too had a very turbulent relationship with my father for a number of reasons. His alcoholism and his abusive ways had me very afraid of him growing up. And I know it was difficult for him to accept the fact that he had a transgender son. I would say that being able to let go and forgive my dad was a pivotal moment in my life. Very much a pivotal moment in my life's journey. It enabled me to be able to see the positive ways my father impacted my life, and also to be able to accept his gestures of love towards me before he passed away. Forgiving is just such a powerful tool for this life's journey. And on Tuesday, you really affirmed that for me. I mean, we can walk around with so much pain and resentment and hurt. It's to the point that it can be so deep-rooted in one's consciousness. And I know as I begin to release more and more my pain, that the pain can be so heavy that oftentimes for me it felt like trunks filled with boulders. And I'm talking pain from the relentless bullying that I endured growing up, pain from being brutally beaten up by guys who left me with 2 black eyes, a busted lip, a bloody face, and a broken spirit. Pain from the overall discriminatory ways the mass consciousness has treated transgender people for so long. Pain from having facial distortions because of silicone shots that went bad. I'm working on that. I've been getting treatments and it's better, but it still affected me emotionally. The pain becomes like weights. Almost like you feel weighted down. Your spirit is weighted down by the pain and the hurt and the resentment. And as I let go more and more, I start to feel lighter. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a work in process. And when I say that, I've realized that when you're used to thinking about things in a certain way, and you attempt to try and change your pattern of thinking, it really does take practice. Your show on Wednesday also resonated with my spirit. The show, What You Think About Yourself is What You Become. Because from a very young age, I would say about the age of 4, I was ostracized for being an effeminate male. And it happened so much in my life growing up that I began to believe the things that people said. I actually took on the negative comments and the negative treatment, and I believed what they said, to the point that I expected, after a while, I expected the condemnation. I really expected it. I allowed myself to believe the negative comments and then have myself feel like I didn't have a place in this world. What I know now, I'm realizing it more and more, is that my thoughts, my thought patterns kept recreating over and over the negative experiences from the past. So in other words, like a hamster going round and round in its play ring, I was repeating the negative experiences, but just with different people. I'm at a place now in my life where I'm truly able to, I feel, release, let go, and come into my authentic self. I realize that people's opinions of me, they don't define who I am. They don't define who I am. I know my intentions. I know my consciousness. I know my spirit. I know my heart. And that is so powerful, to basically know yourself. That there's so much power in that. And to the point that I can now say, I do have a place in this world. I do have a place in this world. Last year I had the opportunity to play a principal role in the movie Bellamata. My character is Aunt Norma. And my niece in the movie was played by Little Jazz. You actually featured Jazz on one of your shows about transgender children. You had her parents on, you interviewed them, and you told her story. And when I think about Jazz and I think about other transgender children, as a transgender adult, I realize that I have a responsibility to pave the way and hopefully make it better for them coming behind, just as we stand on the shoulders of the ones that came before us. The work that I've done in the community for so many years, I've done quite a bit of advocacy work for the GLBT community, and just overall having a spirit that wanted to have a positive presence on this planet. I've always had that in me, just in my own unique way, despite all the condemnation, people laughing and thinking very discriminatory thoughts about me. I just always felt like, okay, I want to make a positive difference being who I am. I now know that all of that plays a very, very important role. It's like a pebble in the pond. And, you see the pebble is small, but the ripples are just so big that the pebble makes. Before I go, I want to thank you, Oprah. I want to thank you for all of the many years of using your platform to touch so many of us here on the planet in such spiritually transformative ways. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wish you love, peace, and blessings.